Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Joe, and it's time for Puck It with Joe. Okay, who joined me yesterday? Who was heartbroken over our long shot parlay? One game didn't hit. If you guys watched yesterday, you know which show it was or which game it was. Oh my God. Minnesota Wild and the Montreal Canadiens didn't go over 6.5. Out of all the games we put in our parlay yesterday, you guys, that was the only one. We had the Senators team total over 2.5. We had the Flyers on the puck line plus 1.5. Vegas on the money line. The New York Islanders in regulation. The Dallas Stars in regulation. The Edmonton Oilers on the money line. Calgary over 3.5. The Devils minus 114 on the money line. And the Wild and Montreal over 6.5. If we had the under, you guys, that parlay, $10 paid out, 142, I believe it was. Now, if you did the best bets for the show, you also made some really good money. We had the Vegas Golden Knights on the puck line. We know that didn't hit, but we had the Islanders on the puck line. That was plus 140, and the Edmonton Oilers on the puck line at plus 154. If you parlayed those together, you wouldn't have got it because of Vegas. Van City, nice to have you here. Thanks for joining for the first time. Jay, good to see you back. Leafs over tonight. We'll break this one down, you guys. Let's jump into these games. No long shot parlay, of course, tonight with only 2 games on the board. But we have the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, not the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Maple Leafs. One of these days, I'm going to say that right. I like the Toronto Blue Jays a lot more than the Maple Leafs, so I don't even know why I get these confused when I start to say their names. Let's look at this one. Toronto, the Maple Leafs coming in here as a huge favorite, minus 345 on that money line, unbettable. This team is 4-4-2 on the season, 1-9 on that puck line. They just have not been playing strong at all. They're returning home here after a road trip. Now we know the Philadelphia Flyers have come in here. They were on a back-to-back. They played strong last night. They've lost their last 2 games, though. Off the overtime loss to the Rangers, 1-0. They just held their ground last night. Carter Hart, absolutely phenomenal, just like we see out of him. He was so sharp. He faced 36 shots on goal, stopped 35 of those, and did lose them the game, letting in that one goal. A heartbreaking loss for the Philadelphia Flyers last night. Now, the Flyers have covered the puck line as an underdog in their last 8 games, and they're 4-0 on that puck line this season and 4-0 on the road. 4-0 on the puck line on the road and 8-1 on the puck line on the season. They're coming out so strong. They're keeping these games tight. Now, no Carter Hart tonight, of course, because he played last night. It looks like Sandstone will come in now. He has a 3.13 goals against average. This team and both of these teams aren't getting the goals. They're playing stronger defensive game, especially the Flyers coming in here, allowing an average of only 2.44 goals per game. It's 3rd overall in the league, but they are allowing those shots. So it's goaltending that is keeping them in here because they're allowing 35.9 shots on goal. Now they're only averaging 2.67 goals per game and 26.4 shots. So we are seeing teams limit their ability to get these shots. Now, Samsonov expected in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs here. He's got a 2.7 goal against or 2.35 goal against average, and this team is averaging 2.7 goals per game. Now they're rolling in with 31.4 shots on goal, so they will dominate these shots tonight. We can look at some player props. I'm going to pull them up in a second for players from this team to get these shots. Now, Austin Matthews is one that right away jumps out in my mind. He's really being limited here. I think he comes in and he gets a goal in this one. I do like him for that anytime goal. I think he really needs to step up for this team. He only has 3 goals on the season. So I'm looking for him to be stronger here at home. Can I trust the Maple Leafs is always the question. This team has so much hype around them. The press talks them up. It's a weaker team than I believe they were last season, and there's higher hopes for them. I can't trust them. Do I love the Flyers on a back-to-back? Absolutely not. I think this is going to be a struggle for the Flyers to be able to keep this one tight. But I think that they could. We've seen them lose on that second night of a back-to-back in their last 5 games, and they have struggled in Toronto going 2-5. I know a lot of people are going to think Toronto comes in here, covers that puck line nicely at home. I don't see it happening. Toronto is frustrated right now, and I think they're going to have another frustrated game here. I think it's a lower scoring one. I know a lot of people liking this over. If you're liking the over, you have to assume that Toronto offensively shows up how we would have expected them to come out this season, which we're just not seeing as of yet. Now, every single time last season Toronto faced the Philadelphia Flyers, they beat them by 3 or more goals. So I can see the reasoning to extend that puck line, take Toronto big, but I'm just not going to get there with it. I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, I'm happy for Toronto to get right on the right path, but I don't think it's going to happen in this one. So what I'm going to do is I lean towards the Flyers and the puck line plus 1.5, but I think this under is the better way to go. I'm looking for this game to be controlled while we don't have the best of goalies in by the Flyers. I'm looking for defenses to really step up on both sides of the puck and control this game. So give me the under 6.5, and fingers crossed for this bet that Toronto does not finally wake up offensively, because we know they've been a little bit asleep out there. Let's look at the next game on the board. But first, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I love seeing all of you guys in the YouTube comments and the TikTok comments. TikTok, I will be, once I finish all of these games, I will jump onto TikTok, answer you guys' questions there. Appreciate you guys. You too, keep those comments coming. Thank you, confirming Sandstorm in there. Sandstorm in there. That is perfect. And big sis Lisa, big shout out to you and Joey. Okay, let's move on to the next game. It's only 2 games. Feels so weird. The schedule is definitely odd with such low days, like 2-game day. With the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres coming in here at minus 102 at home. It looks like the majority of the money is going on Buffalo. Pittsburgh Penguins coming in here as the favorite, minus 118. Now, the Penguins have lost their last 5 games. They had an overtime loss to the Boston Bruins last night. I was so glad when I saw that, because remember, there's no way. We talked about it. Wasn't going to step in front of the Boston Bruins. They end up winning in overtime. It was 6-5 game. Fantastic game last night. The Penguins gave it all they had. But it was like, it felt like they were begging us to take the Penguins. I feel like they're begging us again to say, hey, the Penguins finally have to get a win. Take the Penguins at minus 118. I'm not buying it. I can see the Buffalo Sabres rolling here. Eric Comrie expected in goal for them. Now he has a 3.4 goals against average. Casey DeSmith expected for the Penguins. He's got a 2.97. Now the Penguins coming in here averaging 3.7 goals per game. 4th overall in the league and 37.3 shots on goal, which is 4th overall in the league. Defensively, shooting themselves in the foot. We saw it against the Bruins last night. They're allowing 3.5 and 35.7 shots on goal. Now, Buffalo, on the other hand, rolling in here hot. They won their last 2 games. Their last game was an 8-3 win over the Red Wings in a game that I didn't think they could win. I stepped in front of them, and that's why I'm cautious to step in front of them here again at home. They head out on the road on Friday. So this is going to be interesting. Their next game not till Friday, when they face the Carolina Hurricanes and then the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't think this is a look-ahead spot for them. I do think beating the Pittsburgh Penguins is their only concern in this one tonight. Now, the Penguins roll in here not strong following an overtime game. They're 8-17 on their last 25 games following an overtime game the previous day. They have played strong, though, versus the Buffalo Sabres going 40-15 in the last 55 meetings. But this Buffalo Sabres team isn't the same team, really, in my opinion, that we've seen year in and year out. This team is really stepping up. They're only allowing that average of 2.78 goals per game and 32.9 shots on goal. I really like what I'm seeing out of Buffalo. What I'm going to do, because this line, it's odd, right? You have the Pittsburgh Penguins rolling in here. We know they're a strong team, but at minus 118, losing their last 5 games, now on the road, off in overtime, and they want us to buy in them at minus 118, and the Buffalo Sabres winning their last 2 Now the dog at home. Vegas knows something. I don't like it. I'm going to stay off the side in this one. I like the over 3.5 at plus 134. Love that plus money for the Buffalo Sabres team total. I think if they're going to put up a fight in this one, it has to be offensively. They're averaging that 4.11 goals per game, which is second overall in the league. They're getting these shots at 33.1. And I think with the defense of the Penguins allowing these shots to just come racking in on their goalie at 35.7 and with Casey DeSmith in, we should see the Buffalo Sabres get over their team total of 3.5. Now, how can you not like that freaking plus money, you guys? You know I love it. Yeah, Big Sis, you're looking at the Sabres as well. They're just a better team. It scares me where the money's coming from and where the public's sitting on this game. But I think this team has such incredible goaltending, and it's got a really solid offensive core. They're moving that puck around, and they're playing where it's not just one man. Like, we look at a couple of teams and they've got their superstars. The Buffalo Sabres, they spread this around really hard for defenses to defend against when everyone is making a contribution. This team looks like they could actually make it to the playoffs this season. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of them. We also know the Penguins on 0 days rest have struggled as well, going 1-5 in the last 6 games on no rest. I'm talking myself into taking the Buffalo Sabres here. I think I'm just going to stay with their team total 3.5. We get plus money with that. We're getting negative money on the money line for them straight up anyway. So I'm going to take them over 3.5 at plus 134. Let's look at a couple of these prop bets. I wanted to look at the prop bets mainly for the Toronto Maple Leafs, you guys. I think there's good reason to bet this one here because I think we're going to get those shots on goal and goals by a couple of these players on the Maple Leafs. If they'll connect and go in is a different thing. You get Austin Matthews for an anytime goal tonight at minus 118. I do like that. I think only 3 goals on the season. He's got to step up, and stepping up at home is something that he's used to doing. Let's do some more shots, or let's look at points and assists. You can get Austin Matthews points and assists because we're liking him for that anytime goal. I think the points and assist is another way to look at it too. Over 1.5, we're getting plus money at plus 132. So I do like that there. And then Nylander, his points and assists, I'm only getting 0.5 on my book at negative 215. So I'm not going to touch that. Let me see if I can get Nylander for anything else here that I like. Just 1 second, you guys, just bear with me. Let's look at Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner, his shots on goal tonight, I like it. Over 2.5 is minus 135. We're paying a little bit of juice there, but I definitely think that's a good way to go. Now let's quickly look at some goalie props. See if we've got anything up for that Pittsburgh Penguins Buffalo Sabres game, because I do think the goalies are going to be working in overload, especially for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Their defense is allowing too many shots on goal. Now, Casey DeSmith, this is interesting. His prop tonight is 29.5. Now, we know Casey DeSmith's defense is allowing 35.7 shots on goal. We know the Buffalo Sabres are averaging 33.1. I think they go over it tonight. I think they come closer to 36 shots on him. I'm looking for them to get those 4 goals, so I could see him saving over 29.5. I think that's a pretty safe one. Over 29.5 for Casey DeSmith is minus 112. I like that prop. That is a good one. Eric Comrie is coming in at 30.5 at minus 120. I think the Buffalo Sabres do a better job defensively, getting these block shots on goal. We know that the Pittsburgh Penguins are getting these shots at 27.3, but I think the Buffalo Sabres will be able to play them strong tonight. So I'm not going to touch that one, but I do like Casey DeSmith, even though I'm liking the Buffalo Sabres to get those 4 goals tonight, to be bombarded with shots on goal tonight and to have over 29.5 saves. So you guys, that was it. What we're going to do is I'm going to tell you my best bet in each one of these games. I guess you can figure it out already. There's only the 2 games. And then from there, that's it for Puck It with Joe. I'll answer your TikTok questions right after the Philadelphia Flyers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going to take the under 6.5. I think even if this is a one-sided game, even if Toronto opens up offensively, I think the defenses are what's going to narrate this game. And even if it's Toronto then getting 4 goals and holding the Flyers to 1, it still stays under. I cannot see both of these teams being a 4-3 style game in this one. So give me the under 6.5. And then between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres, I got to take the Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5 at plus 134. You guys know I freaking love that plus money. But you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you got all of those props. I hope you got everything. I appreciate you guys. I will bookmark this. Easy bookmark today. Have a good one. Everyone on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, thank you so much. TikTok, hold on. I'm coming right back to you guys. Have a good one, you guys. Keep smiling, and let's make some freaking money today. Bye now.